So as many of you know, if you followed Going Green for Green over the years, I've been working with a product called ProBio K2 for, wow, it's almost like 9 years now. An amazing product. It's an organic solution to an organic problem. And we have one major operation set up in Colorado with A1, where we process roughly 140 million gallons of various organic residuals, and we convert it into a real, a high-end soil amendment, and it sells. The compost is excellent, and we have no trouble selling the back end. Behavioral change is really, it's a difficult thing. People are set in their ways, and in so many instances in wastewater treatment plants and various different processes, pulp and paper mills, for example, people are taught in school that these are the chemicals they use, this is how it's done, and that's it. And they're really not open to much deviation from the current list of chemicals. ProBio K2 competes directly against polychem and lime, a chemical which is probably used, both chemicals which are probably used in about 95% of wastewater treatment plants in North America, probably South America too. I'm not quite as familiar with those markets. So we do about 80% of the job of those two chemicals, and we're organic. And it's trying to get people to wrap their heads around not contaminating their organic waste, so that the beneficial reuse for the ag sector, which currently right now, needs all the nutrient inputs it can get at an affordable rate. So I'm going to show you introducing basically a video today of the Bahamas. Bahamas, small island, probably a population of about 250,000. And for many years, they've just used settling lagoons and natural decomposition basically to treat their sewage. And, the storm came, I guess, about 2 years ago and kind of blew out their cells, and they've got a problem. They've now got one massive lagoon as opposed to settling ponds. And you can see that video. Now, what was amazing about ProBio in that application is that I have never dumped bags of powder into a lagoon and stirred it around with a shovel on the end of a backhoe and stirred it up. Amazingly enough, it worked extremely well. We're hoping to be back in the Bahamas and doing more business down there and becoming a regular part of their processes application. Also to that, again, so you have all this organic waste being anaerobically digested in an anaerobic digester. Works just like your body, solids, liquids, and gas. But you get out what you put in, okay? So in other words, if you put in 100 gallons in the front end of an anaerobic digester to make biogas or electricity from turning a cogen, you're getting 100 gallons out. It doesn't disappear. Now, when we work with the Dunnondale family, which is in Sterling, Ontario, what we found amazing, well, I mean, the odor reduction right off the top was awesome. And you can hear Eric talking about that in the coming video. When you look at what the overall benefits of probiotic use was in the Dunnondale AD system, we reduced their volume by 20%. In other words, 100 gallons in became 80 gallons out. Huge difference when you're dealing with, 55 or 60,000 ton, never mind gallons annually. So, you reduce that by 20%. The cost savings is just huge. Never mind the benefits of odor reduction, ease of handling on your pumps, and just the overall effectiveness of your system fully digesting the material. We still don't know if the evaporation qualities, which is what has made Colorado and A1 Organics so successful, we still don't know if that carries on. In other words, if you feed the digester at the front end, do you have to put more powder in, mix again, and spray it out? We did a major trial with Fleming College this summer. And, I live and learn, right? I didn't control enough variables. We kind of were a little bit lazy, I would say. And we still learned a lot, but the data that we created doesn't necessarily explain A, what happened, and B, really clearly outline the benefits. But if you watch the video with Eric Dunnondale and the family, and you can certainly talk to them if you're in the AD business, they were blown away. So, I've got this organic solution to an organic problem. I haven't yet to release, 5-pound bags and start selling it over the internet, because it is an awesome household product. There is no doubt about it, and that's coming. But what I guess what's frustrating for me, and as we're coming up to the compost conference here next week, I'm really hoping to gain some traction this year on some large scale liquid processors, specifically Dunnondale, and try and get them to engage with this organic solution. It is amazing what this stuff can do when put in and mixed properly into the slurries. So, that's basically it. I wanted to introduce both the farm to the trial on the anaerobic digester side with the Dunnondale family. And I wanted to introduce this Bahamas piece, which is really, it's disturbing, but they're obviously working hard to fix it, and there's nothing easy when you have an inflow of waste stream coming every single day, 7 days a week. It's very hard to get on top of it. It's very hard to get ahead of it. And they're trying. So, that's sort of what I have to say. The video is amazing. You can see both the effectiveness of the probiotic on a small scale, as well as just me dumping it into the pond.
So you got this waterfall coming in because the dike gave way in a storm. And so now the lagoon that used to be up top is flowing into the lower field.
This was basically a buffer that we put in with wood chips, and it went all the way across. And we were hoping to filter a lot of it out as it went, and it was doing really good at first, but it just got overwhelmed.
What do we got? This is just sewage again.
Yep.
And how deep would you say that is?
Out there, that's 2.5 feet.
Wow. And it's leaching into the jungle over here.
Yep.
And then is there a stream that flows out over here down that hill?
Yep, that's their leach.
And so what you're worried about is the neighborhood's just over yonder.
Mm-hmm. Going backwards, fighting a losing battle.
Well, we got to fix this, don't we? All right, today Going Green for Green finds itself in beautiful Bahamas. We are in Nassau, New Providence. Amazing place, palm trees, oceans, beaches. Everybody loves the Bahamas. Now, wherever there's lots of humanity and wherever there's lots of tourists, there's problems. There's problems with garbage. There's problems with waste. And there's also problems in how we deal with it. So I'm here with Strata Resources. I've been doing some testing and experiments on this site with raw sewage, as it is a major problem on this island. Everybody's on a septic system. There's no wastewater treatment plant, and for the most part, they deal in a very traditional manner with that waste stream. We plan on converting it all to a solid and composting it, and we're still waiting on some equipment. But in the interim, I've been doing some experiments with the poop lagoons, and we've been mixing in some powder and some green waste and trying to solidify it. And we're going to check in on that in a little bit. So stay tuned, and we're going to take you around the Bahamas and show you how we're dealing with the poop. Holy smokes, what an odor. Well, we put a couple of bags in here. We're going to see what happens. All right, there's our little green waste mix. Let's see what Gary can work his magic here. All right, folks, so we mixed in 3 bags of probiotic powder, I don't know, maybe a couple of yards of green waste, and we've mixed it all up. And you can already see the probiotic working and binding up towards the solid. So, I mean, you can see this problem here that they have. I mean, it is just a non-stop flow of poop. And they got to do everything they can to try and get on top of this and clean it all out. And we're doing the best we can. So we're going to check back on this tomorrow and hopefully we can scoop it up and it passes the slump test and gets in a dump truck and we get it out of here. All right, so this is my man Gary here. We've been monkeying around in this poop lagoon here. So what do you think, Gary? We put in 3 bags of ProBio in a little corner here. We just mixed in some green waste. Little different consistency?
It's much different already with just 1 load of green waste in here.
So there you go. We'll come back tomorrow and check this out, and hopefully it's solid as a rock. All right, so we're just checking here to see how our experiment went. What do you think? That's gonna dry up a hell of a lot more now.
Yeah, literally, I could haul that now.
Right.
I mean, I could load that in the truck and haul it. So,
you're impressed.
Definitely a big difference.
Right? Ideally, would be some sort of a mixer that would go around the pond and mix, and then you could dump bags all over the place, and it'll solidify it up. You dump green waste in, and away you go. All right, Gary, so what do we got here? We put all 4 totes, mixed for about 40 minutes, and it's not running out. And the liquid appears to be holding and binding to the green waste.
It definitely took the odor out.
Okay, so here we are in Bahamas. This is the little micro test. I think it's going pretty well. My advice to Strata is to just continue to fill these totes whenever possible and keep treating this carrier bed. And this can be your test bed, and it'll help you understand how it all works. June 23rd, 2022, Milford, Ontario. Heading up to Dunnondale Farms to pack up some more powder. We're going to check in on our trial that's going on with Sir Sanford Fleming College, Dunnondale Farms, and Colorado Wastewater Solutions. We've got an ongoing anaerobic digestion trial where we're putting the probiotic powder in the front end of a digester to see how much gas increases, odor reduction, and whether the evaporation that it happens when you use the ProBio drying process, whether it still continues or whether we lose sort of that ability through the digestion process. I've already got a load of pallets here. I'm on my way to North Carolina, Virginia, then the Bahamas, then Utah, then Texas, and California in between. Should be an interesting summer. Stay tuned and follow me on my YouTube page. Sign up, like, and subscribe. Thanks, folks. See you soon. All right, folks. So Dunnondale Farms with Eric Dunnan. And Dunnondale Farms, very progressive dairy farm in southeastern Ontario. What are we doing? Fill us in on what we've done so far.
Well, we're mainly a dairy operation. We milk 330 cows, along with a methane digester. So we have a lot of waste to deal with. We take off farm waste too. And so we're running 3 tanks and running 750 kilowatt hours a day. And we've been looking for ways to reduce volume of manure or change the fertilizer value of it.
Why don't you give us a little rundown on your experience with ProBio in the front end of your digester?
So initially we wanted to treat the manure pit under our parlor to get rid of ammonia. That was one of the main goals. And so we were adding it right at the source and mixing it in every day. And we did notice a drop in ammonia level, but maybe not the full drop we were looking for, but we saw other things that we weren't expecting. So basically, after the first few days, we noticed our cubic meter pumping, our digester levels were getting way low, so we had to shut off our transfer for a while. And then eventually we started it going again, but we have not been able to get back to the transfer level before we started using the ProBio. So it's
still running itself through the system.
Yeah.
So let's talk about ammonia. Now, the ammonia is kind of, I mean, it's doing some damage. We've got footage previously. It's doing some damage to your burn, correct?
Yeah.
So if we called it Perfor ProBio was a 10, and that was high end and stinky and eating wood and eating your burn, where did we get it down to?
We're probably at a 2 or a 3 right now.
Right. Is it still holding on? It's still, the odor is still dissipating?
Since we quit adding it at the front end, it's starting to come back now because that's a small tank, so it doesn't take long for it to change over. We would explore opportunities with probiotics.
Great. All right, well, there you go. So Eric Dunnon, fourth generation dairy farmer, Sterling, Ontario, and it's a beautiful September 30th morning. Stay tuned. We'll be back for more. This is Going Green for Grain. If you're in the anaerobic digester business, or if you're an operator, wastewater treatment plant, and you've got issues with odor, ProBio K2 is an organic solution to these problems. And what we found at the Dunnon Farms is that a gallon in, a gallon out is not the case if you use ProBio K2 at the front end. We reduced the digestate volume by 20%. Huge cost savings. We changed the whole way the system operated, ease of handling on the pumps. Pump maintenance was way down. And as well, we just took the stink right out of the whole process. So, you know, if you got some questions and you got some issues on your AD facility, reach out to me.